All right, so first just find a comfortable seat. Okay. Take a moment. It's so important to adjust and not just make do. A lot of times you can be like, oh, I'm just on the ground, it'll be fine. But really take a moment, just like you take a moment in Shavasana to get your posture just the way you want it. Do the same for a small seated meditation. And then recognize what feels good about this. What surface are you sitting on? Are you on blankets or a bolster or a block? Or are you comfortable on the ground? And what about this serves you? And is there anything else that you could do um, to make yourself comfortable? Sometimes it's hard to know where really you're most supported until you hang out in the position for a little while. So as we sit here for a moment, if something changes, go ahead and adjust. I don't feel like you have to be frozen in place. And then close your eyes and just kind of put the veil over the world for a moment, at least with your vision, so that you can tune to what's happening on the inside. And take a moment without feeling like you need to manipulate your breath or do any specific pranayama techniques. Just come into the breath and notice what's here. It's such a good barometer to kind of sense how are you in your nervous system? How are you in your thinking? How are you in your body? How are you in your presence? Our breath is such a bellwether for all of these things. So just notice what's here. And perhaps you're having a day where you feel really good. Perhaps you're having a day where you don't feel really good, or anywhere in that spectrum. Try not to judge or have any expectations, but to just be here. Allow the shoulders to soften. Allow the crown to extend. Open up through the heart space. Feel as though the heart can have some bird wings and there's just this lightness, maybe floating feathers upward kind of feeling where there's a lightness to the heart. When the heart feels heavy, we kind of have to uh, make sure and tend to this and cultivate this lightness of heart. It doesn't always come so naturally. So even if you have to fake it till you make it, offer the physical experience of a heart lift to yourself. And notice the subtlety that when you lift your heart instead of collapsing your heart, if something in your mind shifts, if something in your breath shifts, if you have a slight leaning toward hope instead of not, just moving the needle slightly. And then with that open-hearted space, relax your face. Soften again everything you can find. Tend to your diaphragm, let it move and breathe, let your belly move and breathe. And then notice the grounding, the support, your legs, your pelvis. And as you've slightly manipulated and changed some things and noticed some things, now that you have a little more clear sensing of what's happening, what is it that you need to work with today? Is there something you need to free? Is there something you need to hold within you? Is there something that you need to just let lie? And bring your hands together at your heart and let's offer an intention for ourselves. Remember that putting, your self-care needs forward in your to-do list, right? Both in the mind and in the actual doing, is really important. This is not a selfish thing to do, and it's not a waste of time. Okay, release your hands. And let's find our way onto our mat. So as you stretch out, such a joy to come into your practice. And remember, anything goes. Maybe you are having a day where really what you want and what you need is to just lie down and to be present in your breath and in Shavasana for a while. And so never feel obligated to do what I have on tap. You can just be in the presence of your yoga kula and do what you need. All right. Stretch your arms overhead if you're following, and find some nice reaching in the body. Right side a little longer, left side a little longer, and just enjoy that kind of opening through your body. And then stretch both hands like you're diving through water. Reach through your body. Take a deep breath and feel your rib cage expand. And then relax your arms down at your sides and put your feet on the ground. Knees are up, arms straight out to the side, and let's begin with a little windshield wipering of our knees, left and right. Feel free to rock the head in opposition of your knees so you just feel that nice and gentle twisting of the spine. And then maybe drop over to one side a little bit longer, deeper. Breathe. And then maybe drop over to the other side in the twist a little bit longer, a little bit deeper here. Full breath. And then come back to center. Pick up your knees and let's open our knees in some circles like you're stirring two pots. So just feeling that sense of range of motion in your hip joints. Maybe circle the other direction. Notice how your hips are feeling today. All right knee into your chest, a nice good squeeze, and let's take the opportunity to move our ankles and our feet. Check in with your upper body, keep soft and relaxed as much as you can. And then with that knee hugged in, we'll take a deep twist here, crossing over, and of course, only go as far as your body says go. And let's slide that right arm around on the ground. So you can slide it up and then slide it down. So we're just finding a full arc through the shoulder. Maybe your spine twists, maybe your head turns as you do this. Just kind of find what feels nice in your body. And then we'll come back to center. Come to a half happy baby. So left foot on your ground, and then grab onto the right hand on the right foot and compress that knee down toward the ground, feeling the balance across your pelvis. And then cross your foot over to the left, hold your right foot in the left hand, and do some circling of this hip joint with your leg in some external rotation. You can press a little bit into the right knee with the right hand. And then cross that thigh over thigh, draw your knees into your chest and rock a little bit or be still. Your choice of how you move. All right, and then release that. Stretch your body to a star. Notice the difference between your two sides. Let's roll your wrists and roll your ankles. And then draw the knees into the chest and give yourself a nice hug. And we'll keep the left knee in and stretch the right leg long. Find your feet again and roll around in your ankles, wiggling through your toes. It's so nice to wake up your feet, wake up your calves, let your ankles move. And then when you're ready, let's cross the right knee over, or sorry, left knee over to the right and open up to a bigger twist. Just go as far as your body says, and then feel free to slide your arm, your left arm around on the ground. Maybe perhaps your head is turning, maybe it's not. Just kind of find what feels right. You can move your shoulder any which way you want. And then we'll swing back to the neutral place, knee into your chest. And let's go ahead and put your right foot on the ground. Pick up your left foot in your left hand and drop into a half happy baby pose. Compressing that knee down toward the ground, feeling the balance across your pelvis. And then we'll cross that left foot over to the right. Hold your left foot in your right hand, left hand on your left knee, and start to do some hip and knee rotations. So just kind of getting into a little bit of rolling around in that hip joint, see what's here. Feel free to go any direction you want. And then we'll cross the left thigh over the right thigh and draw your knees in. Giving a good snug hug. Relax your head. And then we'll stretch open to a star. Again, reaching big and wide out there in space. Exhale, drawing the knees into the chest. One more time. A big breath in. Exhale, a breath out. And then we'll roll to our side and come to our hands and our knees. And find your way onto all fours, and we'll start to move through some cat-cows and just start to open up your vertebrae. Open up the way you breathe. Then feel free to move around in your spine any way you want to move around in your spine. You can circle through your pelvis, wag your tail, move your head, anything at all. And stretch back to child's pose. Drop into some weight into your hips, and then walk the hands over to one side so that we stretch through the side body well. Dropping some weight and open the rib cage for breath. All right, we'll find the other side, stretching over, feeling some weight in your pelvis, reaching through your whole side. And coming back to center. Wiggle around a little more on all fours. Get your spine open. Reaching the left arm up. Roll your wrist if you'd like and twist deeply. Notice the back ribs. Push them out on the in-breath. And then on the exhale, what's happening? And then face the ground so your shoulder stretches a little bit more. You can drop your hips toward your heels. And then inhale, bring that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down. We'll switch sides. Arm up, roll your wrist. Exhale, underneath. Twisting the spine, enjoying that range of motion. Feel your breath touch the ribs. And then face the ground. Your chest is broad. The arm is still underneath you. You can drop your hips back. Inhale, reach that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Lift to a dog and enjoy the fullness of your legs now. Take a little time to pedal your feet, to feel that groundedness through your hands. Notice your breathing. And then walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana, and let the back of your body open up. Feel free to bobble through your head, shake through your hips, bounce a little. A halfway lift, extending, opening through the heart. Exhale and melt to fold. Do it again, a halfway lift to connect with the breath. Exhale and release. Pushing through your feet, rising up. Practice through your arms, open your chest. Reaching the arms back up, a big swan dive forward. A halfway lift, spine opens, exhale to melt. Step the left foot back, right foot's in front, find your lunge. Start to move, we're flowing here, flowing with the breath, letting our hamstrings and our hip flexors open up. Walk the back foot forward, switching sides. Left foot's now in front. Opening up the legs a little bit, square hips, find your breath. And when you're ready, hands down, back to a dog. Root to rise, a full back body opening. We'll come forward into a plank. Feel the integrity around your ribs, your core. And find the ground. Roll the shoulders here, loosen up those tension points on your neck. And then when you're ready, a big open cobra on your in-breath. Exhale to melt back down. One more time. Come up onto all fours. Wag your tail. Anything that feels good. Come up onto your shins. Bring your arms up. Maybe open and close your fists. Shake your wrists. And then we'll come back onto all fours. Move your rib cage around here. So we're over to the right, up toward the sky, over to the left and down. Move with your breath. Where we feel the sense of mobility coming into our spine and into our rib cage and our sternum and our collarbones and our shoulder blades and even our pelvis. Everything receives. Switch directions. And then walk your hands forward and come to a puppy pose. Drop your chest, lift your hips. And take your blocks in front of you. Put your elbows on your blocks and stretch your triceps open. Dropping your hips back, you can curl your toes under to give you an extra bit of height. And open up your triceps. Feel your side ribs open up. Breathing well. All right. And then we'll come out of there one more time, up onto your shins, arms up. And then exhale and relax back down. And just take a moment to notice, we've done a lot to just kind of touch and free all parts of our body. Working with the breath. Do you feel embodied? Do you feel a little more free? Do you feel whole? Like you've kind of let your mind touch your whole being. All right, we're going to do some Viloma breath here. So come to a comfortable seat. You can sit in Virasana. You can sit in Sukhasana. We'll be here for a few rounds of breath. So, you can crisscross or you can be however you want to be. Remember that posture you found in the beginning of class that felt very nourishing to you? Notice for a moment first just how different it feels in your body now versus when you first sat. Is your spine feeling more alive? Is your diaphragm more mobile? Do your ribs have some bounce? Do you have a greater sensing of your whole being? All right, so I think most of you, if not all of you, were here yesterday, but I'll just describe quickly the Viloma breathing. We're going to do it in both ways, where we inhale the Viloma breath first, and then the second part will be doing the exhale. So for Viloma 1, you're going to breathe all your air out, and then as you start, the breath is going to be sectioned off into 3 parts. So 3-part breath. We're going to inhale a bit and pause, and then inhale a little bit more and pause, and then inhale the final third of the breath and pause, and then a full natural long exhale and repeat. Okay, so remember, we want softness and surrender and receptivity. You can have a feeling of a little bit of breath hunger where you are controlling and manipulating the breath, but not to a point where your body is stressed or you feel panicky or you feel like you have to take a giant gulp of air. So see if you can modulate your pace. A lot of times, in my experience, Viloma really requires practice to really understand how much to dole out in the 3 parts of the breath, so that you've breathed in enough, and so that you don't feel like you're topping off the tank super tense in your upper body. So just see what you can do for this. Okay, I won't guide the pacing because everybody's different in your pacing. But your exhales are full, long, and clear. And then the inhale, you breathe in, a little bit of a hold, breathing in a little more, a little bit of a hold, and breathing in a little bit more, a little bit of a hold, and then letting that exhale cascade. So as you do this, notice if you are learning how to partition the breath in equality, if the pauses are comforting, if you can find some ease within the pause, let the pause be an opportunity to melt the body. Try not to have the holes be up around your ears and your throat, getting your shoulders high and tense. See if you can keep the breath hold just in the lungs themselves, absorbing prana. Giving yourself time in those pauses to just marinate in the breath. It's more than just oxygenating your tissues. It's also creating a deeply held space of prana infusion in your body. So imagine that you're receiving and absorbing the energies of the universe, the ways we connect to each other, the thread that it interweaves all of us. That's what you're touching and absorbing into. And then after this next round, whatever round you are in, we will return to just a few rounds of some fullness of the breath where you're no longer putting a stop gate. Remember the word Viloma means against the natural order, or I think of it like the expression against the grain, where we're supposed to be continuing the breath and all of a sudden we stop it. So now we're just letting things flow. We're going with the grain. Sometimes I think of Viloma as filling and emptying, not just in three segments, but you can think of filling up the bottom, then the middle, then the top. And then as we begin the exhale, Viloma, you can think of emptying the top and then the middle and then the bottom. Whatever helps your visualization of partitioning the breath well. So when you're ready, we'll begin with the exhale. So we start with a normal, full, deep, beautiful inhale. And then cascading right into the exhale where we breathe out and hold. And we breathe out a little bit more and hold. And we breathe out a little bit more and then we hold. And then the breath in. So as you do this pacing for yourself, if you feel like you're gulping, that you're just racing toward the next breath, that your body is anxious, then you know you're holding too much, too long. So try to just, but it takes some practice to figure this out. And of course, every day is different. You can never assume that the way you're breathing one day is the way your body's going to be accepting the breath the next. But we want to have this sensing of a little bit of equality in those three partitions. Anytime you need to return to some normal breath, you do that. Viloma may not feel as luxurious as Ujjayi breath. It may not be as easy. It may feel restrictive, or you just don't like it. There's tension. So that's okay. It's okay to not like something when you're learning it. Just know that it's increasing your lung volume, your lung capacity, that it's doing a service to your nervous system and helping the parasympathetic to come online. There's a lot of gifts to being able to have a sense of control over the diaphragm and over the breath. And when you feel ready, maybe do one or two more rounds so that you have that really, an understanding of the quiet that lives in these gaps between the breath. When you feel ready, you can return again to the fullness of your breath. Feeling that sense of expansion, slowness. So maybe have a couple of rounds of that Ujjayi where we're just banking the walls of our throat a little bit, letting our trachea have this smooth passageway where we're slow and steady stream with the breath. Can you feel that updraft of the heart again, floating feathers? And as you kind of take stock to return to movement in a moment, just notice how you feel. How does your mind feel? How does your body feel? We'll come off of our seat and come into a dog pose. Let yourself move slowly. It might be a little creaky from sitting for a little bit of time, and that's okay. So you might need a cat cow before a dog, and that's okay too. So you find you. Take a little time, and as we return to the awareness of our body, let's see if we can stay in the presence of that mind space and breath space that you just cultivated. What does it feel like to Ujjayi breath here, where you're just slow and steady on the inhale and slow and steady on the exhale? Walk your feet forward and come to an Uttanasana. Keep your breath flowing. A halfway lift when you're ready. You can hold your legs or blocks or the floor. Melting to fold. Push through your feet, rising up, bringing the arms upward to the sky. Open the heart, lean back just a little bit, and then release. And melt to fold forward. A halfway lift, expanding through the spine. Exhale and melt. Step your left foot back, right foot's in front, ground both feet. Virabhadrasana 1. As you rise up, we'll bring our arms with us, opening up through the heart space. Lift those feathers. Maybe your arms expand, maybe they stay connected. What feels good? Ground into both legs. Feel the support of your core as you rise up. And exhale, release your hands, hop into a half split, square the pelvis. Extend through your spine. Exhale, Jiva squat, tuck down in. Inhale, pressing straight. Exhale, feel the condensement. Inhale, square hips, press straight. We'll step our foot back one more time, Virabhadrasana 1. And then turn and open up to the side, a deep low squat, elbows inside your knees. Drop your head. Ground yourself here. And then we'll turn back to the front of your mat, feet together. Step your right foot back, ground your foot. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Are you connected to the breath? Use the support of the ground and of your core, of your pelvic floor. Feel all that support to help lift you and lift the heart. Imprint this open heart space. Let it kind of filter beyond this mat where you can keep the heart expansive. Release your hands down, hop up onto this foot, half split, stretch your leg behind you, squaring your pelvis. A deep breath in. Exhale, one-legged squat, drop down in. Push straight. Exhale. Drop in. Push straight. We'll come back one more time. Drop your heel down, press into your legs, rising up, the open heart. Your core is supporting you, so we're not compressing and sinking into the back body, but feeling that lift off the pelvis. Hands come down onto the ground, back to a dog pose. Connect with the breath, that energy of that Viloma. We don't have to partition the breath, but that mind space of concentration. Inhale, come forward into a plank. How's your breathing here? And then we'll find the ground. Inhale for a cobra. Exhale and release back down. Climb up onto all fours and move your spine around. Curl the toes under and lift to a dog. Finding breath. We'll walk our feet forward, Uttanasana. Push through your feet, rounding or straightening the spine. Up you go. And then trace down through the center. And notice how you feel. A full breath in. A complete breath out. Turn sideways on your mat for some wide legs. Come down with your hands on your knees for a goddess. Just find, just get used to being here with a little bit of support. And then we'll come all the way to standing star. So we're going to move the breath through us. Close your eyes if you'd like to, and just feel your way into the concentration that maybe you felt in the breath work. See if you can cultivate that again. And we're just going to slowly exhale, dropping our body down. And then inhale, bringing the body back up. And you do you with your depth, with what you do with your arms. This is really about just moving inside the breath rather than, trying to challenge. You can challenge yourself in the squatting vibes by all means, but you don't have to. So kind of find, what is it that you're looking for right now? Is it concentration? Is it breath? Is it depth in your body? Is it all of it? So just see what feels good for you. This is the beautiful thing about our practice, is we get to just treat ourselves to what we need. Okay. All right, this last one will stay down there. So just find the depths of your squatting, whatever that looks like. Lift your heart, ground into the four corners of your feet, and bring those light as a feather, those little feathers of the heart lifting high. Float your heart space. Find the diaphragmatic movements, your belly moving, your ribs moving. Solid ground under your feet. A standing star. Heel toe your feet in, or just walk your feet, turn back to the front of your mat and pause in Tadasana. Let your legs enjoy the fact that they're closer. And then here in Tadasana, can you feel the full flow of your breath without collapsing, without hiking your shoulders up, without pushing your pelvis forward? Just see if you can find all the neutrality of Tadasana. Feeling the ground, unlocking the pelvic floor, unlocking the knees, unlocking the diaphragm, feeling your spine, feeling the heart float on little feathers. Feel that steady Ujjayi breath where we're just slow and steady inhale and a slow and steady exhale. Can you give this energy to the world today? What you feel right now, this sense of calm and ease and groundedness, sense of spaciousness and possibility and hope. I hope you're feeling all of those things, and that you can remember that they're here in you for you to offer the world today. If you're not at the front of your mat, come up there so we can do a vinyasa, and then we're gonna move to the floor. So rising, arms up, lean back if you'd like, open your chest. Exhale, floating forward. Relax your spine, relax your head. Inhale for a halfway. Exhale and float. Take your non-dominant foot back, dog pose. Feel extension and space. Feel groundedness and breath. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Push the ground away. Lower yourself down. Arms down at your sides, palms facing the floor. Everything lifts up, arms, legs, shoulders, head. Exhale and relax. Put your hands under your head, pick up your feet. Windshield wiper your knees a teeny bit. Come up onto all fours. Wiggle around your spine. Right, we're going to take a heart bench here. So we're going to have one block on the middle height and one block on the low height. And if these feel pokey to you, you can always put a blanket on top. And of course, you can modify this and put things higher or lower or however you want. I'm going to have the block across my shoulder blades today, but you can of course put it this way. I'm at the height where I can kind of go either way. Both feel equally good to me, but you find what works for your body. The block is in between your shoulder blades, and the one on a slightly higher height is underneath the base of your skull. Once you come into a heart bench, you can decide what you want to do with your arms and legs so they can be down and just grounded. You can bend your knees, you can knock your knees, you can Supta Baddha Konasana your knees. Same with your arms. You can have them overhead, cactus, teed out to the side, interlaced with your elbows, just kind of find what's right. And if this feels uncomfortable, make a change. So I'm going to change my block. I'm going to turn it long ways in between my shoulder blades. Sometimes if I feel a little vulnerable in my back in this pose, but I still want to have the openness, I'll grab a blanket and stick it underneath my pelvis. Ooh, that feels good. I'm going to do that today. So that my back is not stressed in any way, but I can still take the heart opening of this. So if your back feels like, ooh, I'm not sure I want that back bendy vibe, try sliding a blanket under your pelvis. Okay? Adjust anything at all. This pose is for you. And if you need to abandon ship because it's like this isn't just not working, that's okay too. You can roll a towel or a blanket underneath your spine instead and do a back bend that way. The goal here is to be able to be at ease and open the heart. So, are you able to experience that? Are you able to breathe and open the heart? And if the answer is no, then change something. Sometimes I like to have the blocks on the same height, putting your head back a little bit further, opening your throat. Just see what feels right for your body. I did all this work to open our lung tissue and kind of increase our lung volume. So maybe put your hands, if it's comfy, put your hands on the base of your ribs and feel them move. And we're going to roll to our side. Draw your knees close and round the back body a little bit. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to come up to a seat. Put your feet over to the right side. Rest a little more deeply onto your left hip and lean to your left and twist. Have a little stretch right there in the bottom of your ribs as you breathe. And then we'll come back and bring your feet over to the left. We're leaning a little deeper into our right hip. Lean over to the side, hands on the ground. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Twisting through the ribs, through the spine. Let your breath touch into those bottom ribs and move them. Heart is still floating. And then relax and come back to center. Grab 2 blocks again, and then a blanket to put on top of them. And put that underneath your chest and your head. So I have 1 block kind of right above my breasts and the other under my face. So you do you to kind of figure out what feels good, and we'll take a supported child's pose. Turn your head one way or the other. Let your belly fall into the pocket that you've just created. Relax your rib cage. Breathe into the fullness of your lungs. 360. Turn your head the other way if you haven't already. You're going to come up, push that stack away from you. Come on to your right shin, stretch your left leg out, right hand on the ground, and stretch open. You can always put your hand on a block instead if you want, and just open the side of your body. Come back over to the other side, changing sides. Hand on the ground, knee on the ground, foot on the ground, stretch open. All right, come back and grab that blanket, grab your blocks. We'll do a pigeon pose. If you know that you'd rather do a reverse pigeon, by all means do a reverse pigeon pose. Okay. So we'll find our way into whatever posture feels right to you. Remember the heart lift in this pose before we come down. Float those feathers upward one more time. And then as you extend forward, maybe your head comes on a block. Adjust to anything that needs adjusting. Keep the hips square. Try not to tuck your tail under and hug your sit bones toward each other. Instead, lift the tail ever so slightly and widen your sit bones. Maybe rock your forehead on the block, relax your neck. Melt into the fullness of your breath. Come on up and we'll switch over to the other side. So you can do a dog pose in between or anything at all that helps you kind of organize yourself and gets freed and ready for the other side. If you're on your back, you can just switch your legs. Extend your spine, float your heart, try not to push your body. We'll exhale and lengthen to come into the sleepy pigeon. So once you're down with your head on a block or whatever support you're taking, reorganize your pelvis. Feel the sweep across the backside of your pelvis, balancing the two sides. A slight lift of the tail, a slight wideness of the sit bones. Melt into the breath, the full inhale, the full exhale. Find your way out of there and we'll come onto our back, preparing for Shavasana. So you can take a little pose if you need, knees in or a happy baby or some rocking or twisting or anything at all. Okay, if there's anything your legs need, sometimes a little bit of shake, anything that feels good. And then Shavasana, as you come here, remember that you can take any props you need for comfort and that you can cover yourself for warmth. Make sure your eyes don't have blaring lights on them. Any support you need, take. And then as your body starts to settle and melt into the ground, can you receive the support? Can you feel that Shavasana is just this embrace? Just as we were kind of marinating in the prana in those pauses in Viloma breath, can you marinate in the prana of the earth right now? Just this sense of deep support. We are made of the earth. We are absolutely belong. We absolutely belong. So feel yourself belong. Melt into the support and the embrace. Let's begin to deepen our breath. Notice your body start to move a little in your body. Eventually coming to your side. As you find your way up to a comfortable seat, take a minute to find that comfortable posture again. Imagine your heart with the little feathers, little wings to keep it lifting and filled with hope. Let's bring this energy into our prayers, offering our energy, our practice to another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.